Hello friends, so today we will be studying about the concepts belonging to synchronization. So what is synchronization and why do we need it is the first basic question. So whenever two cooperative processes are executing simultaneously, cooperative processes in the sense they are sharing some data. When they are executing simultaneously, the shared data may become inconsistent. That is, for example, one process may update it by incrementing, another process may update it by decrementing. So the shared variable should be updated as incrementing or decrementing is the question. This condition is called as the race condition, where two cooperative processes are executing simultaneously and modifying the shared data. Now on the screen you can see the code for a producer and consumer problem, which we have already studied in the previous module. So producer will produce the items which are consumed by the consumer. So here it is a very simple code, you can go through it. Just why synchronization, this is an example used, I am going to tell you. Here we are using a variable called as a counter. In the producer code also counter is used, and also in the consumer code. So whenever one item is produced, that counter value will be incremented, and whenever one item is consumed, that counter value will be decremented. These two codes, when they are run separately, individually, they work fine, but when they are synchronized, means when they are made to run at the same times simultaneously, what happens, there is an ambiguity whether the counter variable should be decremented or incremented. Sometime only incrementing is done, sometime only decrementing is done. So finally we are going to get an inappropriate result because of the counter variable. So this is a race condition. So in such conditions we require the synchronization processes. Then we have to find the solutions for these race conditions, and the solution which is found for such race conditions should mainly satisfy three criteria. One is mutual exclusion, progress, and bounded waiting. What is mutual exclusion is when one process is executing means it is executing something, the other process should not use the data which is used by this one. So for this we will study the critical section problem first. So what is critical section? Critical section is a part of code in every program where the shared data is being updated, it is modified. The shared part of the program is present in this critical section, hence it is very important, it is very crucial. So it is called as the critical section. So first we will be having an entry section in the program where we are requesting to enter into the critical section. After completion of executing in our critical section, then we are going into the exit section, and remainder part of the code is being executed. Whatever solution we are giving to the critical section problem or the race conditions should satisfy the three criteria which I previously told you, that is mutual exclusion, progress, and bounded waiting. What is mutual exclusion? When one process is entered into its critical section, means when one process is executing, other processes should not allow to enter into their critical section. Exclusively only one process should execute in the critical section, that is mutual exclusion criteria. Progress in the sense when there are many processes, and among those many processes only few processes want to enter into the critical section. So now competition is between the few processes, and only those few processes should be allowed to decide who is entering into the critical section. Okay, so means they are saying that some processes wish to enter the critical section, only those processes which are not executing in their remainder sections, which we do not want to enter the critical section, they should not be included to decide which processes should enter into the critical section. This is called as progress. Next is bounded waiting. See, whenever you make a request for entering into the critical section, then there is a time limit, waiting time, which is time when other processes are coming out of the critical section and your requested process will enter. Means that waiting time is fixed, it is bound. It should not be that endlessly the process should be waiting. So that is bounded waiting. Means when one process makes a request, um, few processes may allowed to be entering into the critical section. After that, the requested process should be allowed to enter into the critical section. Bounded waiting time of the process should be bounded. So these are the three important characteristics which should be satisfied when you are providing a solution to a critical section. So next one we are going to see is a solution which is provided to the critical section, that is by Peterson's critical section solution. So in this solution, mainly it is used only for the two processes, and the data structure here is we are using the two variables turn and flag. So turn variable will indicate whose turn it is to enter into the critical section next, that is indicated by the turn variable. Then flag is a boolean variable. Flag is set to true if it is entering into the critical section. It is set to false if it does not want to enter into the critical section. The flag is an array which is used to indicate if a process is ready to enter into its critical section. If it is not ready, it will be set to false. So how this will work? See, when for example process pi, for example, now you can see on the this one here screen, flag of I is equal to true. It means that process I is ready to enter into its critical section. After process I, since there are only two processes, process pi and pj is considered. Pi is ready to enter into its critical section. After pi, who should enter into the critical section? J, pj, is it not? So turn is equal to j. Turn is indicating which is going to enter into the critical section next. So flag is equal to true and turn is equal to j is set. See, both flag of I and turn is equal to I cannot be done. Means that time the process cannot enter into the critical section. So it is saying that while flag of j and turn is equal to j. See, j process is ready to enter into the critical section, and turn also is next turn also is jth process only. It does not happen. When one process will come out of its critical section, other process will be entering into the critical section, not the same process. So flag of j and turn is equal to j cannot be same at the same time. So this is not done. So see, therefore while condition, a semicolon is put. Means when flag of j, when j process is ready to enter into its critical section and next turn also is j, that time you have to do nothing. Means that is a wrong condition. If that condition is false, then you are going to enter into the critical section. So when you are entering into the critical section, flag of I will be true. When you will come out of the critical section, means you are not ready now to enter into the critical section. When you are not ready, what you have to do? Flag of I should be set false, which is done there. Then next remainder section will be executed by that process. So this code, it satisfies all of this solution, that is Peterson's solution. It satisfies all the three criterias of the critical section solution. So in this, mutual exclusive is done, that only one process, then progress and the bounded waiting is also done. But now we have already got a solution here, but what is the disadvantage of this one? It is applicable only for two processes here, p of I and p of j. So but we will be having many processes to be considered for the progress, is it not? Progress is such a criteria where many processes will be competing for the critical section entrance. So many processes will be there. For that we will be going for the next. This is software based solution. Whatever we have seen now, Peterson's solution, this is a software based solution. Peterson is a software based solution for the critical section problem. So which is having a disadvantage that it is applicable only for two processes. Next we will be seeing the hardware solutions which can be used. So the hardware solution, here we can use the locks. So whenever one process is entering into its critical section, it is locking. it is locking, it is a variable will be used, that is lock. So that will be set to true at that time, means no other process can execute its critical section at that time, all those other processes have to wait. So this can be used. So this can be one of the solution. And another solution is, so when one process is entered into the critical section, stop the interrupts, disable the interrupts. If you disable the interrupts, what will happen, there will be no requests only. See, when one process is generating a request for entering its critical section, it means it is generating an interrupt. So whenever you are disabling the interrupts itself, then there is no question that there will be a critical section problem, is it not? So but this is possible only in the uniprocessors, where only one processor is doing its work. But when there are multiple processors, what will happen, there will be multiple processes on different processors, that time we cannot disable. So if we want to disable, it is time consuming, that is also one thing. So here one hardware based solution we can take by using the two codes, that is test and set code and swap. Test and code and swap. So what this test and set and swap will do is, they will modify the values of lock. These are the two methods, test and set and swap. These two methods are used for modifying the value of the lock, whether to enter into the critical section or not. Now let us see here. So now the top section is a code of a process where you are taking a variable lock which is initialized to false. So if you want to enter into the critical section, you have to first enter and then you have to lock the code. So how it is done, see, test and set and lock means the address of this lock is passed here, which is false, which is set to false. Then what happens in test and set, in the test and set, whatever the value is there in target, that is false. For the initially it will be false, then that value is stored in some variable called as rv, that is rv, and target will be set to true. Target will be set to true means what, target is nothing but it is the false value. Now here it is set to true. Since we are using pointers here, it will be automatically modified in the calling function also. So it was false, now it is set to true. So when it is set to true, then that process can enter into its critical section. So return rv, what is stored in rv, false will be stored. See, initial value target is first assigned, then it is set to true, so false will be returned here. When it is returned false, what will be having, while statement will become false, so it will enter into the critical section. Suppose if lock is true, now if lock is true, now you want to make it to false. After finishing your critical section, automatically lock is equal to false is one statement written there. Lock will become false means it is releasing the critical section and it will start executing whatever is the individual, that is remainder section. So this is one example where test and set bit is function is used for changing the value of lock. Another example or function which can be used here is a swap. As the name indicates, swap means what, it is swapping the values of two variables here. So this is a general code which we already know to swap two variables using the temporary variable, and here we are using the pointers also. Then all those, how it is done here is, now you can see here. So in the top section of the code, here you can see we are using one more variable here called as key is set to true first. Then lock variable, again we are using, lock variable will be initially set to false. So when process is entering into its critical section, the value of key and lock should be swapped, because first initial value of lock is false and initial value of key is true here. So when it is entering into the critical section, lock should become true. So now we are swapping those variables. So using a function swap, lock and key, everything is done using pointers here. So whatever code we are seeing in the below section here, it is a complete code which is satisfying all the three criterias, that is the mutual exclusion, bounded waiting and the progress. Here we are using another extra data structure, that is waiting. Waiting means what? It is waiting to enter into its critical section. If waiting is equal to see, to prove that mutual exclusion, we note that process pi can enter into its critical section only if waiting is false. If waiting is false means what? If waiting is false, it is next entering into its critical section. That is, if waiting is true means what? It should still wait. If waiting variable is true, it should still wait. If it is false means that it is next entering into its critical section. So using that, this part of code, it's very readable code. Okay, so using these two data structures, waiting and lock, this solution, hardware based solution, can be given. So next concept we are going to study about the classical problems of synchronization. Means, as we have seen, producer consumer problem is one of the example for race condition, and also like that we are having different types of problems under this synchronization. So first one is bounded buffer problem. See, bounded buffer problem again is like a producer consumer problem only. Here we are using two variables, full and empty. Full will indicate that the buffer is full, and empty will indicate that the buffer is empty. Here we are using one extra lock, that is variable mutex. Mutex is used as a lock here. So what happens in this bounded buffer problem is we are using the buffer in the all the producer consumer problems, so for storing the data which is produced. So if the buffer will become full, what will happen? If the producer keeps on producing the items, the data will be lost. So what we are going to do here, we are going to handle this bounded buffer situation by using the semaphores, which is already discussed in the previous video. So what we are doing, to using the two variables, full and empty. Full, wait full means what does wait function do? Wait semaphore, it will increment the value of the semaphore variable full. And wait mutex means mutex is a lock. Initially it will be set to 0, false means 0. So wait means it will be incremented, the value of mutex will become 1, which means it is locking. So after putting the items into the buffer, what will happen next? After that, the consumer will remove an item from the buffer. So after removing, what we have to do? Producer has done its work. Next, the consumer should do its work, is it not? That is why we are going to release the lock which we are set now here. So signal mutex. What does signal do? Signal will decrement the value of the mutex. Mutex now is 1. After decrementing, it will become 0. It means that the lock is released. Next, signal empty. Signal empty means what? When one item is consumed, what does signal do? It will decrement. Wait will increment the variables, and signal will decrement the variables. These are the semaphores here used. So signal empty. Empty means it will see, when one item is consumed, one value should be decremented. That is why signal empty is used here. So this is one of the problem for the synchronization, bounded buffer problem, where we have to keep in mind about the size of the buffer. Next type is the reader writer problem. Reader writer problem means what? There will be many readers and there will be many writers. They will write what? They will be writing some shared data. They will be updating some shared data. So now let us see this like when there are only readers. So the shared data can be given to everybody at the same time, is it not? Because they are going to only read it, they are not going to modify, is it not? So when there are only many multiple readers are there, all those can be given directly for reading. So this problem is called as first readers writers problem. Means first the readers will be given a chance to read the data which is shared, and writers will be kept waiting. Okay, next one is first writers reader problem. First writer reader problem is what? Or you can say second readers writer problem. Second readers means first writers will be given the chance here. First writers will be given the chance to modify the data. Then after that, till then the readers are kept waiting. After the data is modified, then that data is given to the readers. So this is called as a second reader writer and first reader writers problem. So while reading we don't have any problem, many people can read at the same time, but the problem of synchronization appears when we want to modify, that is when we want to write. So here again we are using the semaphore, read, count and write variable, so that we can solve this reader writer problem of synchronization. So next type of problem is the dining philosopher problem. So what is this dining philosopher problem? Dining philosopher problem in the sense, here there are 5 philosophers. Okay, all the 5 philosophers throughout their lifetime they do only 2 things. One is thinking, and next is if they are hungry they will start eating. That is only the 2 things they are going to do. 5 philosophers, you can see the diagram on the screen there. They are sharing a round table, and during the thinking time they keep on thinking, and if they feel hungry, for there are only 5 chopsticks. Okay, these 5 chopsticks are used to eat the whatever thing there they have specifying as rice. So only 5 chopsticks are present, but through which chopsticks we cannot eat rice, maybe these are Chinese. Okay, so using these chopsticks they are eating. So we should have 2 chopsticks, then only we can start eating. But there are 5 philosophers, so 10 chopsticks should be present, but here only 5 are present. So what will happen when one will pick up its right side, left side will be picked up by the another fellow, is it not? So all of them will be having the only 1 chopstick. So with 1 chopstick they cannot start eating. So if all of them pick up 1 chopstick and wait for the another chopstick, but another fellow is also doing the same thing, so this situation is called as a deadlock situation, which we will be discussing in the next module. So deadlock will happen. So to avoid these, this is also one of the synchronization problem. So to avoid these, what we are going to do is provide few solutions, like allow at most only 4 philosophers to be sitting. When 4 philosophers are sitting, what you can do, 2 people can start eating at the same time. So next, what is we are having, allow a philosopher to pick up her chopsticks only if both the chopsticks are available. If both chopsticks are available, that time only we are going to pick up the chopstick, otherwise no eating, you have to wait. Then use a symmetric solution, that is an odd philosopher picks up the first left chopstick, then her right chopstick. Odd philosopher means first one, third one and fifth one, they are picking up their left chopsticks, then if at all it is available, right chopsticks can be picked up. So like this, these are the few solutions, and here using the semaphores also, wait and signal, the solution can be given to the dining philosopher. So this is what about the synchronization problem. Thank you.